The government detonated 900 nuclear bombs in Nevada, and they're selling tickets for tourists to visit the craters tomorrow. Your tax dollars funded experiments so classified that even today, mentioning certain project names triggers federal surveillance. What I uncovered about Nevada will shatter everything you believed about American democracy. Nevada sprawls larger than most countries, yet harbors fewer people than Phoenix. This emptiness isn't coincidence, it's camouflage. For 160 years, shadow organizations have weaponized Nevada's isolation to conduct experiments that would spark revolutions in populated states. They call it the Silver State, but silver never drove Nevada's real economy. Fear did. Between 1951 and 1992, federal weapons programs transformed Nevada into humanity's most radioactive wasteland. 928 nuclear detonations, more than every other American test site combined, carved a hellscape larger than Rhode Island. Those blasts shattered windows in Las Vegas, 65 miles away. But the government convinced citizens this was normal. How do you sell nuclear apocalypse as entertainment? Casino owners marketed atomic parties where tourists sipped martinis while nuclear fireballs melted the horizon. The Flamingo Hotel created an atomic hairdo mimicking mushroom clouds. Women styled their hair to celebrate weapons designed to end civilization. The psychological warfare didn't stop with fashion trends. It infected an entire generation's relationship with mass destruction. But nuclear testing was Nevada's opening gambit. In 1955, the CIA birthed a facility so classified it didn't legally exist until 2013. Area 51 tested aircraft so advanced that their capabilities remain locked away decades later. The U-2 spy plane, SR-71 Blackbird, stealth bombers that bend light itself, all spawned in Nevada's forbidden airspace. Yet the aircraft program camouflages something far more sinister. Every UFO sighting near Nevada between 1955 and 1980 probably captured American military technology so advanced it defied human comprehension. The government didn't debunk these reports, they encouraged them. Alien theories provided perfect cover for weapons programs that would terrify ally and enemy alike. But aliens distract from Nevada's most dangerous secret. Nevada's underground network rivals Manhattan's subway system, except these tunnels don't transport commuters. They hide nuclear waste, weapons, and classified technologies in chambers carved 1,000 feet beneath the desert floor. Yucca Mountain alone harbors 5 miles of tunnels designed to entomb 77,000 tons of radioactive material for 10,000 years. But Yucca Mountain is just what they're willing to admit exists. Miners and construction crews whisper about breakthrough discoveries that trigger immediate shutdowns. Projects vanish overnight, equipment disappears. Geological surveys get classified faster than you can say national security. What discoveries terrify federal agencies enough to abandon million-dollar excavation projects within hours? Nevada contains more restricted federal land than any other state. 67% of the territory remains permanently forbidden to the citizens who supposedly own it. Not just military bases, but millions of acres patrolled by unmarked vehicles and faceless contractors. American citizens are barred from American soil by American agencies that refuse to explain why. This isn't governance, it's occupation. Federal agencies incinerate thousands of Nevada acres annually through controlled burns that target areas with zero fire risk. These burns systematically eliminate sites where researchers reported unusual activity. Evidence literally goes up in smoke while bureaucrats cite fire prevention. But one site they couldn't burn fast enough was photographed by a commercial satellite, and what it captured explains why they're destroying evidence across 12 other states. Nevada tests space weapons that officially don't exist. While NASA performs public relations theater, the real space program operates from unmarked facilities that track orbital objects invisible to civilian satellites. These installations perfect methods to disable or destroy foreign satellites, preparing for humanity's first space war. But the orbital weapons program conceals an even darker truth. Seismic stations across Nevada register tremors that defy earthquake patterns. Precise, scheduled, impossible. These signatures suggest underground launches of spacecraft that reach orbit without the massive flames that betray traditional rockets. If this sounds like science fiction, remember that everything I've revealed about Nevada's nuclear and aircraft programs once seemed equally impossible. Yet the seismic anomalies pale beside Nevada's surveillance machine. Nevada maintains classified files on every citizen who approaches restricted areas, even tourists who accidentally drive too close to forbidden boundaries. License plates get photographed, cell phones get monitored, backgrounds get investigated without warrants or notification. Search for the wrong terms on Nevada networks, and you'll attract attention from agencies that aren't supposed to exist. But surveillance is just the foundation of Nevada's control system. Nevada's intelligence apparatus shares citizen data with defense contractors, mining corporations, and land developers. Environmental activists face mysterious legal challenges. Journalists encounter employment difficulties. Social media accounts get restricted without explanation. This is how democracy dies, not through dramatic coups, but through economic pressure that makes dissent too expensive to sustain. And Nevada perfected this system 160 years ago. Nevada's modern surveillance state began in 1864, the same year Nevada achieved statehood. The federal government rushed Nevada into the Union not for its population or agriculture, but to seize its mineral wealth and strategic location. From day one, Nevada was designed as a federal colony disguised as a state, where national interests would always crush local democracy. Statehood was theater. Nuclear tests, military bases, surveillance networks. They're just the latest chapter in systematic federal colonization. Nevada citizens never controlled their state. They were allowed to live there while the government conducted its most dangerous experiments. Every generation faces new classified projects, but the pattern never changes. Secrecy, destruction, and the elimination of civilian oversight. And in 2019, they began replicating Nevada's exact model in 12 other states. Nevada's political establishment, regardless of party, consistently supports federal programs that would trigger uprisings in other states. This isn't corruption, it's institutional capture dating to the state's founding. Nevada politicians don't represent constituents. They manage a federal territory that happens to elect local officials. But Nevada's colonial status serves a specific purpose. Nevada exists in constitutional limbo, where federal authority crushes state sovereignty more completely than anywhere else in America. This makes Nevada the perfect laboratory for policies and technologies the federal government wants to deploy nationwide. Nevada serves as democracy's testing ground and early warning system. Nevada pioneered cashless transactions, facial recognition networks, digital identity tracking, technologies that appeared in Nevada years before spreading nationwide. The surveillance systems monitoring Nevada citizens are beta tests for systems that will eventually monitor all Americans. Nevada shows us democracy's future, and it's terrifying. But Nevada's capture wasn't inevitable. Other Western states faced identical federal pressure, but successfully resisted complete takeover. Nevada's surrender was a choice, repeated by each generation, that prioritized federal money over political independence. The surrender continues today, but it doesn't have to. Nevada reveals how power actually operates in America. Every state faces pressure from federal agencies, corporate interests, and classified programs. Nevada shows what happens when that pressure succeeds completely. It's simultaneously a warning and a blueprint, proof that democracy can be dismantled gradually, and evidence that citizens retain the power to reclaim sovereignty if they act. Nevada's secrets aren't just Nevada's problem. They preview what happens when any population accepts that national security justifies local powerlessness. The question isn't whether Nevada will become a normal state, it's whether America will become more like Nevada. Every time you hear about classified programs, federal land seizures, or surveillance technologies being tested elsewhere, remember Nevada. Understanding how they perfected control in the Silver State might be the key to preventing it everywhere else. But first, you need to know which state they're targeting next. Alaska's federal territories harbor experiments that make Nevada look tame. I've mapped the warning signs that reveal which state will lose sovereignty next. Patterns that repeat whenever citizens stop monitoring what their government does in their name. This isn't speculation. It's a playbook they've perfected over 160 years. Nevada's been the government's secret playground for a long time, where they run wild with crazy experiments nobody talks about. The whole state is covered in hidden projects and military bases, but most folks don't even know because they keep the real stuff locked down tight. Instead, they distract people with flashy casinos and atomic parties like it's all just fun and games while serious things are happening behind the scenes. The government's been watching, testing, and controlling people here for decades, and most of Nevada is off limits to everyday citizens. It's like living in a giant secret zone you're not allowed to question. Underneath the desert, there's a huge maze of tunnels holding nuclear waste and classified weapons that the public barely hears about. Miners and workers sometimes find things they weren't supposed to see, and suddenly everything shuts down, no questions asked. Plus, the government keeps track of everyone who gets near these restricted areas, taking pictures, monitoring phones, and digging into people's backgrounds without telling them. All this might sound like a sci-fi movie, but it's the real deal. And Nevada's been the testing ground for this kind of control before it hits the rest of the country. What's wild is how they've made all this feel normal. Nuclear bombs? Just part of a tourist show. Secret military planes? Easy to blame on aliens? Surveillance cameras and tracking? Soon enough, everyone will live like this. Nevada's example shows how the government can slowly take away freedoms without anyone realizing until it's too late. But it's not hopeless. If people pay attention, ask questions, and stand up, they can stop this from spreading. Nevada's story is a warning and a chance to fight back before the rest of America ends up the same way.